My love affair with Asia started about 40 or more years ago when I started doing Japanese martial arts, specifically Japanese sword fighting and Japanese traditional jiu-jitsu, which necessitated regular trips to Japan. And it was there that I fell in love with the Far East and with Southeast Asia. And since then, I've done quite a lot of travels throughout Southeast Asia. I spent a lot of time in Thailand and Indonesia, mainly in Bali and Lombok and the Gili Islands. I've been to Singapore and Hong Kong, and now recently to the Philippines. And really, what I wanted to do was just record some of the adventures that I experience in Southeast Asia. When discussing supporting the YouTube channel, I do military history. Somebody commented, I don't see why I should pay for John to have an extended holiday. When actually I'm living here out of necessity. I decided to move from South Africa and travel and live in Southeast Asia simply because the cost of living here is much cheaper. For example, you know, the place I was renting in South Africa was about 6,000 Rand. You can find a similar or better place here for about 2,000 Rand. Just to give you an example, two of you can go to an upmarket restaurant and have a full-on meal with drinks and everything, and the price will come to about 200 Rand. You can't do that in South Africa. I mean, so we can afford to eat out from time to time, and it's not terribly expensive at all. So, generally speaking, it's possible to live much more cheaply here than it is in South Africa. The other important factor, of course, is that we have electricity 24/7 and blazingly fast internet. So these are all vital components of my life and what I enjoy about being here. It's also warm and humid here, so it's a tropical climate. There's no winter. There's no seasons. There's no spring and autumn or summer. It's really just between 30 and 31 or 30 and 33 degrees every day with lots of humidity. And just some seasons are more rainy than others, but it rains pretty much all year round. And we're currently in the typhoon season. Here I'm coming to my favorite little beach, which is about 15 minutes away, to do some snorkeling on the reef. There's a beautiful reef, which some people say is as nice as the Barrier Reef. This is called Uzi's Beach, and I thought I'd just record this for you to show you what some of my daily life is like. Living in a tropical paradise. The The next thing I want to do is start learning my reef fish names because it's a form of game viewing. Every time I go to the reef, I see the most beautiful fish that looks like a parrotfish. I'm going to try and make an effort to learn the names of the different species and share those with you in time to come. Some of the benefits of the warm weather is, that the water is warm. I mean, it's almost blood temperature, so you don't need a wetsuit, although you do need to wear kind of aqua shoes so that your feet don't get cut on the coral. And you need to wear gloves, but try not to touch the coral anyway because it damages it. So it's best to leave the coral alone and not stand on it and not touch it. There's no real waves here and not much underwater current, so I don't even use fins when I'm snorkeling. I just use my hands and feet to sort of doggy paddle through the water while filming. And it's, another advantage of the warm weather here is that I used to have arthritis in South Africa, terrible pain, especially in the winter time, and started suffering from Raynaud's disease, which is a kind of disease where your fingers go white and the blood rushes from your extremities, and you lose feeling in your hands. So look, there's a barracuda off in the distance. You don't see a lot of really big fish like grouper and things like that here. I think a lot of the fish was eaten. A lot of the fish were eaten during the COVID lockdown, when the locals, their main source of income was from tourism, and that had no food to eat, so they started eating the reef fish. But this is a marine reserve now, and no fishing is allowed. Coming back to the warm weather, so I have a scooter, a little Yamaha 125, and when it starts to rain, I don't need any rain gear. I just usually, if I know it's going to be raining, I wear a sort of a quick dry T-shirt and swimming trunks, and just get wet, which can be a bit cold when you go into the mall and the air conditioner's on. But otherwise, it's shorts and T-shirt the whole time. Some of you may not be aware of the history of the Philippines. The Philippines was colonized by the Spanish, and it's named after King Philip of Spain, and was a Spanish colony for a few hundred years. And then the Spanish lost it during the American-Spanish War, when the Americans fought the Spanish in Cuba and beat them. And then the Americans inherited the Philippines, and the Philippines became an American colony until the Second World War, when they were taken over by the Japanese. And then after the Second World War, they were liberated by General MacArthur, and it carried on being an American colony until, I believe, they got their independence in 1958. So one of the interesting things that it happened during the Spanish period was that the Catholic Church was very active, and 99% of Filipinos are Roman Catholic. The other thing is that the official language is English, so all of the signs and all of the official government paperwork, etc., is in English, which makes it very useful. Almost all Filipinos can speak some English, some more than others. They're not fluent. They do have their own local languages. Where I'm living, it's Bisaya, which is from the Central Visayas, but Luzon, the main capital, the politicians tend to all speak Tagalog. Everyone drives on the wrong side of the road, same as in America, and their politics is very American. They even have a White House, and they have senators, and they have congressmen, and that type of thing. But generally speaking, I find the country very efficiently run, especially after living in South Africa. Everything seems to work, and the police seem to do their job, and the politicians actually work and seem to care about the people. So I'm very happy here, and it's very easy. It's a very easy place for a Westerner to come and settle down. The Filipinos are extremely friendly, kind people. Being used to Africa, I can tell you there's almost very little crime here compared to living in Africa. They also their values seem to be very old-fashioned. It's almost like living in the 1950s or 60s. So there's no kind of feminism or stuff like that in this country. And also it's very easy for foreigners to meet girls here, because in the Philippines they say age is just a number, and it seems as though in South Africa, I can tell you, after the age of 60 you become basically invisible to Western women, whereas here you're not invisible, you still get noticed, and it's quite easy to meet people, and it's quite easy to find a girlfriend here, and so there's no need for you to be lonely in the Philippines, that's for sure. So yeah, it's a wonderful place to live. It's quite easy to move here. You get a tourist visa, which can be renewed for up to 3 years, and then you have to leave the country and start the 3-year cycle all over again. And so you just simply arrive at the airport and you get a visa on arrival. Obviously, there are other requirements, but nothing onerous or difficult. And yeah, so that's my story for today, guys. I hope you enjoy this video, and I will keep these videos coming from time to time. Thank you for watching. Bye.